Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
Hare Krishna, Nalini Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautiful chanting, I would say. Very perfect and well matched with the time also, Mataji.
Thank you.
Perfectly 7 minutes, 30 seconds is what we recommend, and you could complete with it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll do a kirtan and then we will dive into the session day duties. Anyone would want to do that? Satyavit, what do you want to do, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
I
Mataji.
will do it.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Om Ugram Veera Mahavishnom Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Dhrusimham Vishnabhadram Mrityarmrityu Namamyaham. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari 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 Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tirvanachari Yamuna Tirvanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण प्रभु
Hare Krishna, Leelavati Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the for Kirtan. So let's start the day with the chapter 15 devotees. So before that, a warm welcome to all the devotees. So please keep all of your distractions away for the next 1 hour, dear duties, and keep your videos on so that you're completely immersed in this session and get the maximum benefit out of it, right? So with that, we'll be able to get the exact essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So with that, let me just share my screen. So let's start with the Mangalacharana. So all of you can join your hands and sing along with me. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So let's pay our humble obeisances to our divine Acharya, His divine grace, Abhay Charanananda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, and our Siksha Guru, Sunnath Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we did see about chapter 14 where we we talked about what are those three gunas, right? The three material natures, which are the three modes of material nature, which are influencing each of our activity, right? So that's what we call as a trap. That we are trapped in those three modes of nature, right? So we saw that what is sattva guna, how does the rajo guna would look like, and what is the tamo guna would look like, and how the activities, like whether it is a food, whether it is the sleeping pattern, or whether it is even the way we interact with our society, right? So anything that we take, how that each of these three modes of nature is influencing each of our activity is what we saw. And then they just do not influence, but then they always mean a constant competition, right? So they would be competing against each other, and it all depends on what choice I'm making, right? Am I giving a priority to the tamoguna, rajoguna, or to the sattva guna? is where this praise prominence would continue. And we also saw that how the different actions and what are the different reactions out of it, right? We also saw that the person who is in Tamoguna, where he would lead to, right? He would go into the hellish planet. And similarly, the person who is in Rajoguna, he might get a birth as a human being with a better attainment of continuing the bhakti, right? And then in the Sattva Guna, or he might fall down also. There is a possibility with that. And also we saw that with the Sattva Guna, how he would be elevated to a heavenly planet. We also saw that. And then we also saw what is a pure life would look like, right? With the pure sattva, like one can elevate from the sattva to the pure sattva. And then so what is that process? The process is the devotional service is what we saw. So today we would have chapter 15, where it's called as a Purushottama Yoga. So here, so Krishna would reveal some of the secrets of how the spiritual world would look like, right? So some part of it also says that from the previous process, how we should continue to transcend these three modes of nature. It's a small peek into that. And then we'll also learn about how that spiritual will look like, and the distinction between a fallible and infallible, right? So we would start with home or hotel. So where we are living, right? Whether we are living in a home or we are living in a hotel. And then what are the different options and who is maintaining all of this, right? So because everything is in order in the universe, right? So in the material science, we might call this as gravitational force, or we might say that okay, this is in an orbit, this is in a galaxy, so which is under the influence of sun, whatever we might call. But there is one thing which is controlling everything and maintaining it, right? We'll also learn about that, and what is that what Krishna would like to tell us in chapter 50. That's what we'll also summarize by end of it, right? So like every day, so today also we will start with a beautiful story. And again, we will talk because whenever we talk about stories, right, we always take an example of the devotees. Why is that? Whether a devotee who could not perform devotional services, or who could perform and get that sadgati, irrespective of what they are, but each of the stories would tell us a lesson which we have to take away, right? So today also we would talk about Ramanujacharya and his disciple. So we already learned that Kurat Alvar, so one of the great disciples of Ramanujacharya, right? So even before he became a disciple, so he was a king. So we will also learn about what are his pastimes, everything. But then at one point in time, when Ramanujacharya and his disciple Kurat Alvar were there, so they wanted to write. So Ramanujacharya wanted to write a commentary on Sri Bhashya, actually. So that is one of the very prominent scripture, and then he want to write this commentary on it, and then unfortunately there is no reference to that grantha, actually, Sri Bhashya. The only place that where it was present in the Kashmir. So today's what Kashmir is there, right? So that's the only place where this Sri Bhashya Grantha is there, and it is protected by the Pandit who is in the Kashmir. So then they realize, they get to understand that okay, if I have to write the commentary on this to make it so. So this is a selfless thing that what Ramacharya wanted to do, right? So he is a great personality who presented the connection between us and the Lord, right? So selflessly wanted to write this commentary so that it is useful for rest of the devotees also. So that is where he wanted to write the commentary. And then so they realize that, and they do understand that okay, now that is not available anywhere here. So that we have to go all the way, we have to travel to Kashmir to get this. So then they would start their journey to Kashmir. They come there and they would just request all the whoever the president of the association, right? So they would request that okay, I would want to we are planning to write a commentary, so we would need your help. So then because they'll understand that okay, oh, they'll become very envious because it's the only copy that what is there. If they write the commentary, so it might not we might not be this book whatever we have might not be valued. So is what they would realize. So they become very envious and they don't agree to give that. Now there there go argument, and then things would exchange the words, everything. But finally they will not just agree. So despite this, everyone, both Ramanujacharya side and as well as the Pandit side, they will decide that okay, they will request Saraswati Devi to see what should be the best decision, whether this book should be given to Ramanujacharya or it should not be given. So they would just think about that, and then they would also ask Saraswati Devi as well, that what is the best thing to do. Then, so Saraswati Devi also recommends that it should be given to Ramanujacharya. The book should be given to Ramanujacharya so that he can write the commentary. And despite that, they continued their envy upon that, and they would not just share that with Ramanujacharya. So Ramacharya becomes he becomes very distressed and he gets very agitated that, so despite my effort to give this to the rest of the people, I'm not able to write that commentary because I'm unable to get that book. So he'll become very sad and he will be sharing his sadness with his disciple Kulatalvar. So then, during this time, so the Pandits have agreed that okay, they can share the book. They will share the book for a couple of days so that they can read, but then they will not give them completely. So during that period, so Kora Talwar is so intelligent enough, right? So he would say, during that, Kora Talwar has already read through this book in those days, and then he would answer his spiritual master, my dear master. So I have read through this book in those 3 4 days whenever they had handed over to that. I can recite this completely. I have remembered each and every word towards shloka to shloka. So I would be reciting this and you can just listen to me and you can write. So just think about, so what is that both Brahmacharya as well as disciple, right? So both of them, so what kind of a consciousness they are in, right? So they're selflessly want to do, and then even risking their own life. So they have traveled all the way from South India to Kashmir, right? And to do this, and then they would be successful in that. So then, so Kura Talwar, word to word, you'll recite that whole book without having to even miss single page of it. And then Brahmacharya would write a complete commentary over that Sri Bhashya. The grantha is still available, right? So that is the kind of that selflessness is what a devotee would take. So the lesson that what we should see in this story is that, dear devotees, so whenever we are selfless without expectation, right? So whenever we selflessly serve the Lord, right? So results are always so the God will always be with us. Lord Krishna, Vishnu would always be with us. So that story goes on, how they would write it and how they would preach all over the place. They'll travel across the India to provide that commentary and to establish and to give the essence of Bhagavad Gita, everything. And even before Kura Talwa became his disciple, right? So there is this another story which actually complements the lesson also, that what we have to take away. So before he became even Kura Tadwal, right? So he would be a king actually. So he's called as a Qureshi. So he is a king, a Qureshi, and he would be ruling the kingdom called as a Kure actually. So that is part of present Kerala, where Kerala state is today. So that is called as a province of Kure, and Qureshi is a very materially a very great king actually. In fact, right? So although he's not such great spiritual advance, but then he would be very happy to in his kingdom, he would have all of those artists. So the people who would be very close to all the purohits. So whatever spirituality, that advancement that what in it, he would be help it in it. But he not himself is a that is not so greatly attached to the spirituality also. So materially he is very great king. So every day he would listen to the Ramayana, Mahabharata and all. So he would have his ministers sit along with him in his courtyard, and then they would always listen to these stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana. So one of one of the teacher who would recite the Ramayana, right? So he would at that at that moment he would be reciting through this one of that the second khanda, where Lord Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita Mate. So all of them are in the forest actually. So we know that the story, right? So whenever sorry, when when Shurpanaki comes in, right? So then she would ask for both Rama and Lakshmana to get married, and at that moment, Lakshmana is very angry that he would cut her nose, right? So when that incident has happened, so she would go and complain, and then at that moment, so there are 14,000 asuras who would actually race against both Rama and Lakshmana, and they would coming to fight against them. So this is the story that what the teacher is narrating to Qureshi, and then so that so every time there is something similar to this Ramayana and Mahabharata being told the scripture, so Qureshi would completely get immersed in it. That means he would hear it so attentively and then completely immersed. So he would actually imagine himself in this part of the story. So hearing this that the 14,000 asuras is going against Rama and Lakshmana, he'll completely get agitated. So he'll completely get angry, and this, how can Asuras would brace against Lord Rama, Ramchandra? So I think are we tied our hands now? So we should fight against him, right? So what has happened in the reality? So this story has taken place in Treta Yuga. Now the teacher is actually in the Kali Yuga. This teacher is actually only explaining this story to Qureshi, King Qureshi. But then he's so involved, Qureshi is so involved that now he wants to take all of his all the Sainya that what he has, right? So he would want to go and help Lord Ramachandra fighting against all of these asuras. So then he would order his minister, he would call his minister, go and keep ready the complete army. And I want by tomorrow morning we should start marching towards the forest where Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi and Lakshmana are there. So we should protect them. We should fight against these asuras. Hearing this, now the minister is very confused. Now, what does he do? So, anyway, so this is not happening. This is just a story. But then he cannot. He knows that his king is completely involved in it. He cannot just try to say the truth so that he would understand. So then, what he would do, my dear king. So let's do one thing. So let's send one of our messenger to the forest, and let's see whether they are safe or not. Because by now, Lord Ramachandra is such a great warrior, right? He would have actually already killed all the asuras and all. He would have protected himself and both Sita Mata and Lakshmana as well. So then Qureshi agrees to that, and then they would send so one of the messenger to the forest. So all the way in during those days also, so people were always respecting the truth. It is they could have just told the king that okay, the messenger has gone there and he has returned, and then everyone is safe. No, they just did not do it. So actually, the person goes all the way from the South India, Kerala, to up until the North India, part of North India right now. So where this incident happened, and then he would come back and inform. So minister says that now the messenger has returned, my dear king, and both Lord Ramachandra and all the three are very safe. So they have defeated all the asuras and they have gone. So I don't think we should now take an effort to go there. So instead, we can meditate upon Lord Ramachandra and then so always pray for his well-being in the forest. Now Qureshi is very happy hearing this. So now he is very happy that so Lord Ramachandra is safe. And then the story, and then he would ask the teacher to continue the story. And so now, so minister gets that hint actually. So now he knows that. So anything that is very distressing or disturbed, or wherever there is an agony to Lord Ramachandra, this will disturb our king. So we should make sure that so every day we should have something good for the king. So he would instruct the teacher that so any story that what is doing, let's make sure that you submissively reduce whatever fighting or any agony that happens to Lord Ramchandra, and only keep everything good, like the Pattabhisheka or whatever good things are happening whenever they meet all the sadhus and munis. So only keep those things so that our king is happy. So the teacher would maintain the same storyline, and he'll ensure that every day they're saying something happy so that the whole kingdom is actually celebrating it. So he would order for all the prasadam to be prepared and then served to the whole kingdom. So every day there is a celebration because the story has been whatever narration the teacher is doing is all around that happiness only. At one fine day, so this teacher actually falls sick. So then he would ask his son to actually continue the story because Qureshi would want to hear the story every day without having to miss. So then he would ask his son to go and continue the story. But then unfortunately, so the teacher would not tell his son that he should not be talking about the anything bad that happens in Ramayana or anything which is distressing or cause agony to Lord Ramachandra. So the son comes, and unfortunately, on that day, fortunately, unfortunately, what happens on that day, he is supposed to relate the Yuddha Kanda. So where this fighting has happened, so where the Ravana has abducted Mother Sita, and then now the Lord Rama is supposed to fight against Ravana. So they are supposed to march towards Lanka. So then, the son actually narrates the story, and then again, Qureshi gets completely agitated. What? Now, Mother Sita has been abducted by Lord Ravana, and we are just sitting here and talking about it. I think we should right away. We should march towards Lanka, no matter how much our big of the effort or anything, and we should help Lord Ramachandra. So then he would ask his minister again to rope in all the army, everything, keep everything ready, and march towards this. So he'll take the whole army, and they will go to that ocean. So where they're supposed to cross that ocean to reach Lanka. So now he says that okay, let's march towards the so then, but then they do not have all the facilities to do there. So they'll say that king, if we have to really march against, all of us would die if you go into the ocean. So it doesn't matter. So how much ever we can help Lord Ramachandra, we should do. So at that moment, looking at all of this, Lord Ramachandra would be looking at all of this, and he would come all by himself. So he'll appear in front of, looking at his devotees' distress agitation. So he would appear in front of Quraysh and says that, Quraysh, don't worry, I am safe here. So do not worry, I am safe. We do not have any problem. I have made sure that I have taken care of all, means I have killed all the asuras, I have defeated Ravana, everything, and we are safe. We are safe, do not worry. So Quraysh just do not believe in it. So probably you do not want to take my help, so that is why you are lying. So let me see Sita Mate. So then Lord Ramachandra had to ask even Sita Mate, the mother Sita, to appear alongside, not just him, about Bharata, Lakshmana, everyone with the whole the dynasty that he would call, and then he would appear in front of Lord Kure, sorry, the King Kureshi, so that now he is convinced that Lord Ramachandra is happy. So what do we get from this story, dear devotees? That so whenever we are so immersed, so whenever without any doubt, right? So when we completely believe in something, right? So whether it is bad or good, right? So we would see the effects of it, right? So that is when the King Kureshi would become such a great disciple of the Ramanujacharya, the spiritual master, to become his disciple, Kurat Alvar, right? And then so the story continues from there, but then the one thing that what you to take away is because we ask our devotees here to keep their videos on, completely be involved in this transcendental knowledge that what we are having in these Bhagavad Gita classes and all. But we hesitate to do that. But then when we do is where we would have the real impact of it. And when completely immersed, when you completely get to see that knowledge as it's supposed to be, right? So that is where we would have that higher taste of it, right? So with that, let's see where we are living, right? So we said whether we are living in a home or hotel. So today's acronym is home itself. That means home or hotel, what are the different options that what we have, and who is the maintainer of it, and then the essence of the chapter 15 itself, right? So where are we living actually? So are we living in a home or a hotel? So let's take a example, right? So let's say that we have gone to a place, and then we have rented in a hotel there. So you go to the hotel. You check into the hotel and you realize that so the paint that whatever is in the hotel, right? We do not like it. Probably it's not to our taste. So do we go and change the paint of that hotel or the room? Or let's say that probably the cupboards or whatever have been kept, right? The wardrobes, everything. So it's not up to our taste. So do we go and just change all of that? Or if there is no AC, so we'll go and install the AC and we'll fix the AC or we'll install the AC and take advantage of it. Will the owner of that hotel would just let us do all of those things? We don't, right? So similarly, so where we are is in the hotel, right? So this world, whatever material world that what we are in, it's a temporary, right? But then all the effort that what we do is to decorate that material world, right? So everything, every effort that what we take is to decorate, and we think that okay, this is a permanent thing, and then and we'll continue to live in this world as if that we are going to live forever eternally, and we do all of every effort that what we take is to reinforce this temporary thing. But then one or the other day one has to leave that hotel and go back to the home, right? And where is that home? It is nothing but the Lord's home, which is nothing but the Goloka Vrinda, right? So that is what our home is. But what we do on the contrary, so we think that that is not our place. We don't just trust because Lord would keep sending his representatives, right? So we have Ramanujacharya, Shankaracharya, so we had Srila Prabhupada, so he would keep on sending his representatives, disciples, his devotees to us to make us realize what is the real world is, right? So Shankaracharya said, so Brahman Satyam Jagan Mityam, he said. But what we do, so we say that rest of the things, like including Bhagavad Gita, everything is not true. So what is the truth? Truth is that whatever we are living in the material world. But the real truth is that all of that, whatever is in the material world, including everything that what we do, right? Whether it's a distress, whether it is happiness, the day that what we live, everything, right? It's all temporary. The permanent house is nothing but we are part and parcel of Lord Krishna, right? But then unfortunately we will not understand. So just like if you leave, if you go to a hotel, so after 5 or 6 days or even week or two, you have to return to our home. We don't stay in the hotel forever, right? So of course we have to return to our home. So that is the difference, that what you have to understand, that this material world is all temporary and we are here only to complete because of our desires, right? Because I had a desire to enjoy something. So that is where I have got this body, whether it's an animal body or whether it's a human body, right? So all of this is to complete that circle of my desire. So, and how does the Krishna also helps us? He being that Paramatma, he being the super soul, would be present in our heart and he will help us enjoy that, right? And then we'll have to, through this human body that what we have got, so we have to realize that my whole purpose of my life is to get back to the Godhead, get back to my home, is what we have to learn. Got it? So let's see here. So here we see that in the picture, so there is a tree which is upside down, right? So what does Krishna say here? Shri Bhagavan Urdhva Mulam Adakshakham Ashwatham Prahur Avyayam Chandam Shiyasya Parani Yastam Veda Sa Veda Ved. The Supreme Personality of the Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is a knower of the Vedas. So is this tree for real? It's not real. It's just an example. It's a way of explaining things, right? That so whatever in this material world, right? So if you see this tree, right? So usually, so you see that so whatever we see as a root, right? Usually the roots would be always be down, right? So there will be a root, and then there will be branches, the bark, everything, and then the tree would actually branch out to different to leave the leaves, everything. Whereas if you see here, it is uprooted. That means, so you see that there is root on the top and rest of the tree is down. So what we have to understand from this example or analogy is that whatever material that what we have is nothing but a reflection of so what is present in the spiritual world. So in fact, in the next couple of verses, Krishna would tell us how the spiritual world would look like, right? So, but then what we have to understand, whatever is present here, right? The happiness that what we see, everything that what we think that okay is a part of the material world is nothing but the reflection of what is already present in the spiritual world. And here also, if you see in this picture, right, you see that if you just cover the top part of that, even if you can just take your hand and close the top part of the tree, if you look at that image on the pond, right, in the pond where you see the same tree, so it looks almost real to us, right? So that's exactly that what we are doing in this material world. We think that okay, this is going to give me happiness, and to find that happiness, so what is happiness? Nothing but Krishna. But then we are trying to find that happiness or Krishna in a wrong places, right? But the truth is that the real happiness only lies in serving the Lord. That means attaining Krishna himself. But what we do, so instead of that, we would completely get into immersed into the sense gratification, thinking that okay, oh, let me do this now. If I probably so previous janma which was not helpful for me, now I let me take another birth, another yoni, and now I'll be able to enjoy, right? So there are 84 lakh species is what we have understood. 84 lakh unis is what we have understood, right? So that eight and of almost close to eight and of million. So we think that so through any of these birth is where I can find that happiness. But the truth is that irrespective of whether you take birth as an animal like a pig, lion, pigeon, or even as a human being, so you will not be able to find the complete happiness in there, right? No. So because we think that by taking birth after the birth, we are actually trying to find that happiness. No, no matter what, because the whole material world is pada padam vipadam, right? That means every step there is a distress in the material world. So how much have we not trying very hard to keep ourselves happy, right? But are we really happy by end of it? Ask anyone. So we might think that okay, having a money is happiness. So we can go and ask the Ambanis or Tatas, whoever has millions and billions of wealth, right? You can go and ask them if they are very happy about it, right? So they would have a distress. And similar way, no matter what, any material thing that what we can possess, whether it is of wealth or whether it is the position or whether it is a pride, irrespective of anything that what we possess in this material world will not give us a complete happiness. Complete happiness only in the spiritual world is what we have to understand. And so there are many such things that what we realize in our material world also, right? And there is another beautiful story which will also help us understand this, right? So there is so there is a master who has these three disciples, right? So then one day the teacher actually teaches about the fire, and he will say that okay, so this fire if you touch, actually it will burn you. So then this one, the first student who is there, so he would understand, okay, well, my spiritual master is saying this, he already knows about it because he is the one who has realized everything and he is my master. So let me trust him and he will not touch that fire actually. And the second person, so maybe my master does not know completely about it, right? So let me try that and see. He would just touch that fire and say, oh, this burns actually. So this hurts. He would realize that. Then he would understand, okay, my spiritual master is actually saying the truth. And yes, so this fire is something which burns. I should not be touching it. So there's another third student. So what he would do? So today, yesterday I touched it. Actually, it burned. So let me try it today, whether it will burn or not. And then tomorrow also, I would the third student would try and see whether it will burn or not. So that is the kind of life that what we have, right? So we think that. So today I did not get that happiness. So let me try tomorrow and see whether I can get that. And not just about today and tomorrow, even in the next life also, right? Because we would have such a kind of a strong desire that we would continue to get the birth. So the whole material life itself is that janma mrityu jara vyadhi, right? That means birth after the birth. So we would depending on our desire we can take a different body. But what we think that okay, oh, by getting that body I can enjoy it, right? So let's take a case of a pig, right? So pig gets a body where it can enjoy anything that so everything that what pig enjoys is about eating only. It does not have anything else. It cannot enjoy probably flying, or swimming. The only enjoyment that what pig can do is by eating it. So it cannot have. And similarly, every other animal has a greater sense to it. So for example, a lion, it has a greater sense of like hunting down and having that another animal or a non-vegetarian, right? And similarly, like a fish, the fish enjoys by swimming it. So every animal has a greater sense, right? And that's how they have been designed. So we thinking that okay, let me take another type of a body so that I can enjoy my desires and be happy about it. No. So no matter what, how much of our birth we take, whether it's as a human being or whether it's any of the animal or any of these 84 lakh species, so the distress would always continue in this material world, right? So let's understand more about, so how do we free ourselves from this reflection or from this material world? Because now we understood that the truth is not about what is in the material world, right? So Brahman Satyam Jagan Mityam is what we understand, right? So it is about understanding who we are, right? So we have to understand that I'm not this body. That's what we saw in our previous chapters also, right? That I'm not this body, but I am the soul. I'm eternal. I'm part and parcel of Lord Krishna, right? And then the detachment through attachment. So someone who knows the taste of sugar or jaggery would enjoy that, right? And if that same jaggery has been made into, let's say that like a kheer or to the carrot halwa, right? So if you taste that carrot halwa or something, now I know that, oh, this is better than the jaggery itself or the sugar itself. It tastes better. But until and unless I taste that carrot halwa, I do not know that how the taste is, right? So that is way detachment to attach. That means we have to attach ourselves to that higher taste, right? The spiritual taste, that whatever is there. So that is when I know that all of this is temporary. So that is where, so we would start detaching from this, all the material engagement, and we would start understanding the spiritual path of it, right? And also we should give up the lordship over the material nature, because the most probably the problem of the human being is that we want to lord over everything that what we have. We want to own everything, right? So that is where we should understand. So all of this is nothing but, who is the mentor of all of this whole world is nothing but Lord Krishna, right? So we have to stop owning up or lordship over everything. So it doesn't mean that okay, I have a house, I'll say that okay, this is not my house, anyone can take it. No, that doesn't mean that. So our consciousness, right? So our dealing, that what we have in our mind, so the talk that what we do to ourselves, right? So in those consciousness, we should understand that I am not the owner, I am not the Lord, right? So everything is given by Krishna, and then I should have that my attachment to that spiritual life, so that I get start getting detached from this sense gratification. So we will see more in that in the next couple of minutes in there. So if you see here, right? So here Krishna is explaining. So if you see this, so right hand side is what we call our earthly planet, and left hand side is what we see the spiritual world, right? So here, so in fact in Brahma Samhita also it is said that, so Lord Vishnu has been served by thousands and thousands of Lakshmis, right? So there would be thousands of Lakshmis who would be serving Lord Vishnu. So they were taking care. So they would, he was his needs everything. And even if you see here also, right? So there is no electricity, there is no sun or anything actually. So it's always illuminated, right? So that means there is no external energy which would illuminate the spiritual world. So it is always bright, and there is no question of distress there. It's only happiness. But what we imagine things around the spirituality or something, we think that okay, it's all about pain. But the real truth is that when we are in the spiritual world, so everything is enjoyment. That means there are cows like Surabhi, right? So which would give you the milk any point of the day, and you don't need actually to add sugar to make it sweet. So there are explanations, and there are so the commentary around how the spiritual world would look like. So that is where Krishna says that in my spiritual world, right? So where I live, there is no question of distress. There is only happiness, and there is only enjoyment, right? So there is a river of honey actually. So there is a river of sure everything that what we take, and there is a kalparuksha that what you can ask for anything and it would give you, right? So that is the kind of spiritual world that what is present. Whereas on the contrary, on the earthly planet, everything is temporary. But what we do, we think that this is permanent, and whatever is there in the spiritual world is all temporary. So that is the probably the most unfortunate knowledge that what we would have, right? And the spiritual. So here where Krishna says this, right? Na tad pashyate suryo na shashanko na pravakaha yad gatva nu nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or the moon, nor by the fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So that is what is called as a liberation or mukti, right? So we are baddhatmas. That means because we keep falling down. So we also see that the fallible and infallible as a difference, distinction. So we think that this is permanent, but then one who attains the spiritual world, which is so beautiful, just like we just understood that, right? So you would never return back to this material world. So that is what is called as a liberation. And to do that, so that is where this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the kind of the devotional service that what we do. So all of this helps us to attain that spiritual path, right? And so very key important thing that what you have to understand here is that we have lost our real connection, right? So just like the home or hotel, right? So we are here because we came in out of our desires and we are living here temporarily. But what is our understanding? We think that okay, this is my permanent place, right? So he Krishna says that Mamai Jiva Loke. That means we are part and parcel of Krishna, right? So each of us are part and parcel of Krishna. So like it is like he is the father and we are all of our children, right? So but then what we do? So let's take a case of the Lord Krishna, he owns the whole universe, everything, right? There is nothing which is outside of him. So what about his children? They are also the owner of it, right? If there is a king and he has his Yuvaraja or his son, so he'll be entitled to enjoy all of that what is his father's, right? So just similar to that, we also are part and parcel children of Lord Krishna, and we are the owner of all of it. But then what we do, we would desire for petty things, and then oh, give me this car, give me this house, I'll be very happy. So give me this beautiful wife, and I'm done with my life here, right? So that is the kind of thing that what we ask. But then the real truth is that we own the whole universe itself just because we are the children of Lord Krishna. So he says that we are fragmental parts of Krishna. We are separated from him, and now we are stuck up in this material world because of our desires. So that is the real connection that what we have to make, right? He says, Mamaivamshu Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana Mana Shastsandindriyani Prakrutistani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragments, right? Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So the senses that what we can see, right? So all of this, what we do, we engage that in our sense gratification. So even if you can see in this on the picture, right? So there are animals, there are human beings, and all of this coming from the Lord Himself, right? So if you see, so all of there is a connection to it. That means birth after the birth, we can take a different bodies, but then the reality or the source of all of that is nothing but Lord Krishna. That means we are part and parcel of Lord Krishna himself. So that is where he says that Mamai Vamsha Jiva Bhutani, right? That means Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhutas Sanatana. That means we are eternal. So we are eternal parts of Lord Krishna, and we are here only because the conditioned life, because we had that desire. So with that conditioned life is where we are now the Badatmas, right? And then the material existence of it, right? So here, if you see, Shariram yad avapnoti yachapi utkaram उत्करं तीश्वरः गृहीत्वानि संयति वायुर्गन्धन् इव शयत्. So just like how So let's take a case of the breeze, right? Now, in the spring, or usually all of us would experience this, right? So when the breeze just passes just around us, so we'd actually smell that flower or the fragrance of it, right? So we will not be able to see that flower or so where it's coming from. But then the smell is definitely something that what we can realize that, right? So just similar to that, so we keep taking one body to the other, right? But then the essence of it, that right where it is coming from, that actually carries from one place to the other. But so what we do think we try to get this material benefits actually. So we think that okay, I can take this wealth into the next board. I can take this position. I can take this whatever education that I have got, the whether it's a bachelor degree or a post degree or the masterate that what we have. So I'll continue from here to the next Janma. That doesn't happen, right? What really continues from one to the other one is only our Sukriti. So whatever spiritual advancement that what we make is only thing that what it continues. Now, what if we do not succeed in that? Let's say that, okay, now we realize all of this knowledge. Now I start my spiritual journey. So what if I cannot attain this? No, there is no problem with it, right? So even in the next Janma also, whatever spiritual advancement and credits that what I can get, it just like my bank balance, it continues in the next life also, right? So that is where, so we should start our journey now rather than never, so that we can establish our whatever lost connection back to Lord Krishna, actually. Okay, so now the cycle of incarnation. So this is what we just touched upon, right? So here, if you in the picture also, if you see, so every 7 years the body changes, right? So we see that okay, the child is born, and then he would turn into the infant and the child, and then to an adult, and then to a man, and then to the old man, right? So that's what we see, and this gross body so is actually changing. So we think that okay, this is not me, but then the truth is that I was just like an infant, and then now I grown into this body, and probably the next couple of years I'll get old also, right? So shrotram chakshu cha rasanam graham eva cha aditya manaschayam vishayan upasevate. The living entity, thus, taking another gross body obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Right? So, just like the example of pig that what we saw, right? So, pig gets to enjoy the eating, the stew. You give it a stool or anything, it would enjoy that, right? So even there's one beautiful story of it. So once Lord Indra, right? So we know that he is the king of the Swargaloka, actually, the heaven, right? So he would do some one of the wrong things and actually get cursed by spiritual master. So to get birth in the earthly planet. So just about this also, right? So whenever our so the demigods actually get cursed. So where do they go? They'll come into the earth. But what we think that earth is the beautiful place. But whereas for the demigods, earth is a place where they'll get the punishment. So then he would be punished. He will curse for it, and then he'll sent back to the earth, and then he would get the life birth as a pig actually. So then Lord Indra gets birth as a pig, and then he would be on the earth, and then so years after years it continues, and then during that, so he has got his whole family, Indra, and along with his wife, many children, grandchildren, he is completely enjoying actually. So he would get all the food. So whatever is rotten, whatever is untouchable, not eatable, is what we given to the pig, right? So at the kind of whatever waste, food waste that what your kitchen everything is poured into them, right? So he gets to enjoy all of this. He's thoroughly enjoying, and then at the same time, the Swargaloka, the heaven, does not have a king, right? So then Brahma decided that okay, no, this cannot continue because things are not in order. I think we should get that king back, and then he would send Narada actually. So go and talk to make Indra realize what his position is and then get him back. because things are in odd order in the heaven. So then when, Narada Muni comes and then he says that he pays his obeisances to Indra and says that so now he's a pig, right? So and says that see you are not you are not a pig actually. So you are a demigod and you are Indra. You have a whole heaven to enjoy. So there is Apsara, meaning everyone is there, and this whole kingdom is waiting for you to return. But then Indra doesn't listen to him. Right? He says that you think I'm a fool. See the enjoyment that what I'm having here, right? So I do not have to spend much effort. I get all of the food. So it is not just this house. Every house, wherever there is anything that they're cooking, which is left over, I'll get that. Look at my whole family. So I have such a beautiful wife, and there are my children and my grandchildren. I'm not going to come back from here. So that is the kind of life that what we also lead, right? So there are representatives, so there are devotees, and there are the messengers of the God would keep coming and telling us that, hey, you are not you are part and parcel of Krishna. So you are part of the spiritual world. You are not belong to this material world. And they keep saying that what we do, we just ignore and neglect all of those things, and we say that, oh, I am enjoying here. Let me continue my life. So that is the kind of life that what we lead, right? So another such similar example is so there is a king. Actually, all of these are from the Bhagavatam. So it is not that these stories are actually something which is made up. So these are all the stories which are part of the Bhagavatam and the real story because the Bhagavatam itself is to glorify the devotees of the Lord. So Bhagavad Gita is the manual, and Bhagavatam is more like it is all the glorification of the devotees. So 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 as part of that, so this there is a king and there is a minister, and they'll go to this forest actually along with his son to actually to enjoy that forest and also for this hunting down the animal, and then the son gets lost actually in the forest, and so they'll try to find him in every place, so that doesn't yield actually. So then with all the distress and with great agony, the king returns, and the years pass by actually. So many years pass by and they'll not be able to find the child, and then the king gets actually old, and then he would again ask his minister. He'll call upon his minister and say that, can you please go and try to find him? At least if now, if he's not here now, if when I'm gone, at least let him be king and then lead this kingdom. So then again, minister goes back, and then they will do a thorough search and then find realize that okay, he's actually being with that people in the forest, like Adivasis, that what we call, right? So he's part of the Adivasis and he's completely there. He'll go and actually pays his obeisance and says that you are not actually this person, you are a king actually. So you are a Yuvaraja and your father is actually waiting for you. But then that boy doesn't just listen. Boy in the sense, he's an adult, he's a man. So he just doesn't believe in it. He says that no, I have such a beautiful family, I'm part of this forest and this world, and no matter what, I'm not going to leave this forest. So that is the kind of life that what we have, right? So we've given been enough options, we've been given so many chances, but then what we do, we say that we ignore all of those suggestions, options, everything, and we say that so this is the place where I am supposed to belong, and I'll continue to get that birth, and not just as a human being, as a different animal, so that I get to enjoy that sense gratification, right? So let's move from there. Cycle of incarnation, right? Utkarmantam sthitam vyapi bhunjanam vagunanvitam vimudānānu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in the knowledge can see all of this. So what is this rat is trying to do? So we seen this, right, in the movies, and probably some of us also might have this. So that rat would constantly try to escape from that wheel. But what actually happens? The wheel would continue to turn, right? It would continue to turn, and the rat would never be able to get out of it until and unless you make it realize that that is a wheel and it can never get out of it, and you actually help it get out from the wheel. So just exactly is what our material body. So birth after the birth, the desire after the desire. So what happens? It would actually keep anchoring us back into this world, right? But then what we should be doing, we should start detaching from it through the attachment to the spiritual world. It's not that okay, we should leave everything. We should leave my responsibility as a father. I should leave my responsibility as a husband or as a sister or a mother. No, right? So we should continue to complete because only when we're successful in a material world is where I can continue my spiritual. It's not that okay, we have to leave and become a sannyasi. But then whatever we have to have that knowledge, we have to realize that where I am, I'm not this body, right? And then from then on, we have to engage all of our senses. We have to engage all of our efforts in making our spiritual journey from there, right? So, and Krishna is the maintainer, right? So here beautifully he says that, right? Gam avishya bhutani dharaimi aham ojasa pushnami choshuda sarva soma bhutva rasatmakaha. I enter to each planet and my energy is the stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So how does all the plants, everything make their food and then they maintain themselves? It is all through sun and the moon, right? So Lord Krishna says here that I enter into each planet, all the vegetation plantation that whatever we have, the fruits, vegetables, all the nutrients that what we have, so all of that, so that is where, so during that night is where all of these vegetables, everything gets that which calls the prana shakti. So how does one get the prana shakti? By eating those vegetables, fruits, all the food that what we have, right? So eating those grains, everything is where we get the prana shakti. And how does that come? That comes from me, is what Krishna says, right? So that is where even it is recommended that so we should go to so during that is where that whatever moon energy it has, it gets absorbed. So that is where it's recommended that we go to bed early. So we should actually finish all of our, we should be in the bed by around 8 to 8:30 p.m. But then unfortunately what happens? Because of our entanglement to this material world, the whole lifestyle itself is changed, right? So even by 10, 10:30, 11, there are people who will be working. So forget about their dinner. They will have dinner only in the midnight. And what is the so during that only Rakshasa will be having their dinner actually. So that is the kind of life that what we lead, right? And we are supposed to get up in the early morning hours, right? In the Brahma Muhurta is what we are supposed to get up between 3:30 to 4:30. But what when do we get up? So we get up at 8, 9. Forget about so today's attendance if we see, so it's only in our 30s or up to 40. Why is that? Because we want to so because for the rest of the days I have worked like a donkey, so let me rest today. So that is so it is not that that's wrong or something, but that is a kind of life that what we are leading, right? Because we look around us, so doing this something that is not wrong, right? That's what we think. So it is just about for example, eating stool. So why does someone would not eat stool? Because it is abnormal. No one does that. But eating a non-veg is right thing, right? Because everyone does, and I am also doing. So just like that, right? So there's a very subtle thing that what you have to understand that because everyone is doing, we think that it is a right thing to do. But the real truth is that real knowledge only comes from Bhagavad Gita. So that is where we should actually go to bed very early and we should get up in the Brahma Muhurta so that so even the dead cells actually gets rejuvenated. Even by the material science also has proven it. So why do even science that early to bed and early to rise? Because so that is where even in the peak hour by 10 between 10 p.m. to 12 is right where that moon's energy is at the high. So that is when we absorb that energy and even the dead cells actually gets rejuvenated during that time, right? And the same thing happens to the vegetables and fruits also. That is where they get all this nutrients and everything. And you see this, right? So the water cycle that what we see. So the whole world is actually paripurna. That means it's complete. So we see here is that, right? The sun actually, because of the sun's energy, so all the water gets evaporated, right? And then it condenses and forms into cloud. And then on the other side, it actually pours down as a rain, right? So all the things that what is created by the God is actually complete. There is no question of incomplete, right? Whereas in the material thing there is incompleteness, but whatever God has created, everything is complete. Let's take a case of the air that what we breathe, right? So what do? We take the oxygen and we leave the carbon dioxide. And where is that oxygen is coming from? The same carbon dioxide that what we are living is used by the plants and trees, and they produce the oxygen, right? So there is a cycle. So everything is whole world which is created by the Lord is actually has that cycle. It's a complete. It's called as a paripurnati, right? So that is what we have to understand. Now, who is the maintainer of all of this? He's nothing but Lord Krishna, right? Take a case of anything that what we have, right? So whether it is the food that what we eat. So how did someone? So we see Krishna himself says that what is so if someone asks that who is Krishna, right? So Krishna is nothing but the taste of the water that what Krishna is, right? He is the whenever we touch the fire. So whatever sense that whatever that burning sensation that what that is Krishna, right? So the whatever sweetness that what we get when we eat sugar or jaggery, that is Krishna. That means Krishna is everywhere. He has transformed his energy into including that whatever rajo, tamo guna and sattva guna that what we have, right? It is nothing but it is marginal energy. The prakriti that what we have. So all of that is nothing but the energy of Krishna. So everything is actually being maintained by the Lord, and we take advantage of it, but then we forget about we want to enjoy the kingdom but we don't respect the king. So that's the truth about it, right? So everything that what king has given, the Lord has given, we want to enjoy, but then we forget about who has given to this, right? So we should not be enjoying, or probably we should not be just respecting the creation. We should also have to realize who the creator is. So that is the beauty of Lord Krishna. He doesn't stop there, right? So just because our children are actually not listening to us, or probably they are not obedient, we don't just disown them, right? We continue to warn them, we continue to teach them. So just like that, the father does not just stop there, right? He will continue to maintain this world irrespective of whether I am truthful to him, whether I am respecting him, whether I'm able to make connection back to him, doesn't matter. He would continue to, but the only thing that what Krishna would not control is our desires. So when you have a right desires is when you will help. We take one step to get in closer to him. You will take 10 steps to get us to closer to him. So that's the beauty of Lord Krishna, right? And it's a maintain of the mind and soul also, not just about the material things, but about mind and soul also, right? Sarvascha chaham hrudi sanvistu matasmriti jnanam apona cha vedascha sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, right? Intelligence, the remembrance, the forgetfulness, everything that what we have is nothing but Krishna. So we think that, oh, I remember doing that, and I am the lord over this office, or probably this is the destination that what I am. No, so unless he has given that, there's nothing that what I can own, right? So by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So who has given this Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge that whatever we are sitting here and having it on the Zoom class is all by Krishna himself, right? So he is the maintainer of the whole universe, the material, including the intelligence, what we have, the forgetfulness, everything that what we get to enjoy in this material world is nothing but maintained by Lord Krishna himself, right? Including the soul, that what we, because it's a part and parcel of Krishna. It is just that. So we are also seeing that a distinction between soul and super soul, right? So we have seen those attributes where a soul can migrate from one body to the other, whereas the super soul is transcendental. That means it doesn't have any body to it, right? And so this is so we would conclude with these three important shlokas here. So here Krishna says, right, there are two classes of people, right? So fallible and infallible. So Baddhatma and Mokshatma, right? That means so what is a info fallible? That means we would be so we are influenced by these three modes of material nature, right? Whereas the fallible, so whoever is in the part, so if you see even the picture also, right, on the top, so what is the difference between these two pictures, devotees, if you see? So here on the top, so everyone is trying to serve the Lord. So Krishna is sitting in the middle, right? So all the Gopabalas who are sitting around, or Gopikas also, they're actually trying to feed Krishna with their love, right? So they're selflessly, they're actually trying to serve the Lord. Whereas here in the picture down, right? So everything, the money, the food, whatever we get, we want to enjoy. So it doesn't want to selflessly help something, right? So in fact, in the olden days, so the father and mother, so the first child that what they used to get, so actually they would be dedicating him to the serve the Lord actually. So I don't know how many of you know about it. So the first son that what they get, right, so they would leave him to serve the Lord, like probably become a purohit, a priest, or become a preacher. And if the people who had only one son, it's almost equal to not having a children itself. So that is where even in even the Bhagavad Gita also says that, right? So when you want to serve the Lord, you have a children so that they become children of the God actually, not your children, is what it says. So that is the kind of selfless thing that what we should have in our consciousness, right? So they would have him to the first child, the parents would have him to serve the Lord, to serve the country, to serve the society, not just for the selfish motives, right? But today, how we are actually dwelling our children. So we raise our children so that when we get old, they can help us. So there is already again a selfish act. So what actually happens in the contrary? The child also will get the same consciousness, right? So if we do not raise our children selflessly, right? So what happens? When he gets when he young or an adult, when we get older, right, he thinks that okay, oh, my parents are useless, in the sense they are not of any help to me, then why would I keep them? So he'll put us in one of the Vruddashrama, or in any of the orphanage or something, or in the old age home, and he'll end it there, right? So we should be that selfless thing is what we should be teaching our children. It is not just about me and my family, right? It is about how do I selflessly serve the society? How do I selflessly serve the Lord? So that is the kind of thing that what we should teach our children. Okay. And so this is the difference between the fallible and infallible. That what that means, he wants to independently wants to enjoy always in this material world everything that what we get. Whereas an infallible one is wants to always be with Krishna, never leave spiritual world. So whereas in the left hand side, you would keep getting birth. Not doesn't guarantee that okay, he would get birth as a human being. He might be an animal also. Whereas here, no matter what, right? So they would never leave the spiritual world. That means they would be transcendental to these material things, right? And here the Supreme Lord says, Uttama Purushatve Anya Paramatmate Uddharata Yo Lokotrayam Avishya Bhibarti Avyayeshwaraha. Beside these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, right? The imperishable Lord Himself who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. And now we saw that He maintains it, right? So that is how Krishna would deliver, actually, right? And here He says, Yasmat Eksmatsharam Atitoham Aksharad Api Chottama Atosmi Loke Vedeche Vedecha Pratita Purushottama, because I'm transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible. And because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the supreme person. So that is how Krishna concludes that, right? So the purpose of all the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, everything that every scripture that what we have is to understand the Lord. But the way they have been described is just because, for example, in the Vedas we have seen that it describes that okay, you do this yaga, yajna, and you this gets a material thing. Like for example, if someone doesn't have a child, right? So they would be doing a certain kind of a yaga, right? So if someone doesn't have a wealth, he should be doing someone doesn't have a health, they should be doing the Dhanvantari yoga, right? So different yagas are present to get that material thing. That is in the context of it, it has been explained that if you want to attain that, but then if you see the bigger picture of it, all the purpose of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everything is to understand that Lord, right? So that is the whole essence of chapter 15. So selflessly serving the Lord and then understanding what is so where I am, right? Whatever the place where I exist in this material world, what is my position actually? What is my true identity? When we understand, it will be very easy for us to make progress in the spiritual life. Right. So what did we see today, dear devotees, in the chapter 15? We understood whether we are living in a home or hotel. So do not, we just don't have to like keep decorating that hotel, but because it's temporary thing. Because today or tomorrow, I'll have to leave this hotel and I have to go back to the home, right? And then, so what is the spiritual world look like, and what is the reflection of it? We saw that, right? So also saw that example of so we thinking that okay, we are thinking that these are temporary hour, but we complete whatever we decorate, but then we'll never be able to make ourselves out of it, right? Because more and more we desire, and then more and more we anchor here. So So it gets very difficult for us to go back to the Godhead, right? And then we also understood who is the maintainer of this. It is not just about the material things, including the soul, the body, the intelligence. So every, including that, whatever we get to enjoy in this material, all of that is being maintained by the Lord Krishna, the supreme personality of the Godhead. And then, so what is the essence of it, right? So we also saw that what is the difference between the fallible and infallible, and how we should make that connection back to the Lord, right? So this is all of that about Purushottama Yoga. That means understanding the essence of the Lord, that how He is maintaining all of this world, and what is there for tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to see the difference between the divine and the demonic people, right? So all of us here, most of us already know. So whether we are divine or demonic, actually. So we are demonic, all of us know, right? But then we just don't say that. How are we demonic? So we're going to see that, right? And then we're also going to see the difference between, so what are the attributes, like how can one turn from a demonic and divine nature, right? So we'll also see that. And then what are the different qualities that one would possess, right? Just like how we saw three modes of nature, what are the different qualities one would possess, whether about the books, whether the food they what they eat, how they interact with the people, the kind of sleep that what they do. So everything that what we do, so we had those qualities to it, right? Similar to that, we'll also see the qualities between the divine person and a demonic person tomorrow, right? So there will be quiz, which link which will be sent. So would request all the devotees to attempt that quiz, so that you get to meditate on that knowledge that what you get on a daily basis, right? So you get to answer the questions, and even if it is right or wrong, do not worry. Try to attempt those quizzes because it will help you understand it better, right? And then keep a pen and paper also, so that it helps during the sessions, right? So let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra before we end the session. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. यत्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानेन मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरिः. So this is from Sikshastakam actually. So the beautiful thing that what one can get from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So he says one can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly, right? So this gives us the so what is the only thing that what can lift us from this material world is nothing but this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? Only through the chanting is where we can cleanse our heart, be selfless, understand this knowledge, establish our connection back to the Lord. So without that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is no way that we would be able to lift ourselves, because we have to elevate our soul, right? We have to elevate our position, we have to elevate our knowledge from the position that where we are into the spiritual world, right? And that's only possible through the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or through chanting, right? So this is our Lord Lakshmi Narasimha Dev along with Lakshmi Devi, and this is Gandharvika Giridhari, and this is HBR temple. So if there are any questions, we will take the dear duties. Hare Krishna. So you can raise your hand if there are any questions. So I'll try to unmute you. Okay, looks like there are no other questions. And so anyone would want to chant tomorrow, dear duties? So would request any of the new devotees, just like Narini Mataji who did it today, right? So would want any of the new devotees who can chant. Okay, so if you would like to do that through the day also, please do send your name to either Kishan Prabhu, to me, or to Atul Prabhu in the group. So you can send them a message. So we'll be able to have you tomorrow for the chanting activities. So if there are no other questions or anything, so I think we can end the session. So let's chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra before we end the session, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। राधा माधव की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So all of you an option to unmute